Alright, let's see, where to start? Okay, so obviously, simplicity, like you need to have bathrooms on every floor. I've lived in Siebert and Taylor. One was like with multiple rooms with a bathroom in each room, the other being like floor bathrooms. So really depends on however they want to go about that. Preferably bathrooms in like the rooms were so much nicer, but I really didn't mind communal bathrooms. If they were to do so, everyone needs to have them on all the floors, and if it is a co-ed floor, you need to have both, because inconvenience of one of the halls, like study halls around here, like I remember it's like women's room on one floor, men's on the other. Super inconvenient. Yeah. Moving on. Wi-Fi. Hopefully there'd be routers on every floor. It's just an inconvenience to have extremely slow Wi-Fi, especially with a extremely overpopulated residence hall. For college students, new age, computers, all that jazz, it's really nice to have that, have fast bandwidth. Ideally, every place I've ever seen, there's always been study rooms on each floor. Study rooms on each floor, so I mean that's just a given and everything like that. Let's see. Recycling on every floor, literally. If not, crazy idea in my head. You know, like go old school with like the old trash chutes. I honestly have a very simplistic thing. If you just have like one chute that went floor to floor, all you have to do is open up the door, drop in whatever you want to drop in. To make it a little more modernized, if you needed to. Whenever, like, say, like a janitorial staff or something like that is in the basement or wherever it goes to, is like changing the bags or whatever the case may be, you have a locking mechanism where the door wouldn't open or something like that. Obviously, with something simplistic, but just something to throw out there. Yeah, you could also do that with garbage chutes as well, so you could have recycling in garbage chute, because if you're building the building now, that would be a good time to throw those in. Let's see. Obviously, laundry times 3, which times 3 refers to like times like 40, because every residence hall has that huge problem, or maybe it's just everybody goes at the same time. Either way, there needs to be more washers and dryers. It's just convenient for everyone. I threw that. I was assuming this to be the basement, so by taking that, that's the basement. So that's nice and get it out of the way, but make it convenient. Tunnel system would be nice. Obviously, a lot of the buildings, some of them around campus are connected, especially on South Campus. Not a necessity, but it does make it easier, especially during the winter. I remember freshman year when I was in Siebert, there was a couple times where there was ice right outside of my hall, and it was near impossible to walk around. But if you walk through the tunnels down to Baker or something like that, you'll be fine. Let's see. Vending machines on basements, and I'll get to the top floor eventually, but basement, so that's just where most of them have them. It's a very convenient place. Down here I have multiple ways, like I have meetings, study rooms, just anything for studying. Use the basement. I feel like the basement is a very good space because it is below ground, it's secluded for studying, quiet hours and such like that. Moving up to the rooftop of sorts, I know that especially for Taylor, there was a 13th floor. Nobody lived there. It was completely storage space. It wasn't accessible by elevator, but you could actually go up to the 12th floor and walk up. It was a very big space, very nice space. It didn't have all the moldy mattresses and whatnot just chilling out, but you could easily, and I mean it's almost like a, I don't know, skyline party of some sort, you know, you're going to the penthouse of sorts. Just a nice place to relax. You've got maybe, you've got cooking materials, microwaves, ovens, etc., as well as a big TV, games, so ping pong or whatever, or just something like relaxation. Obviously a ham could be kind of a weird thing to have up there, but you never know. I'd be okay with it. And again, vending machines, which just for that convenience factor again. Or if you wanted to chill, maybe even have, obviously not a real fireplace, but maybe an electrical fireplace, just so it doesn't anybody burns down the whole place. Yeah, so that would definitely be kind of a really nice place, because you'd have, especially for the taller buildings, I know great skyline. Like, no matter how crappy the day is, if you're high enough and you look around campus, it's still very beautiful, even with all the construction. So it'd be a very nice place to lounge, and it's a good place for people to kind of get together. And it's better than, like, I know for like Seaberg, because I lived on the first floor, that our common area of sorts that's by the front desk, just, it worked, but it also, there was like kind of a hecticness about it, and it just was almost inconvenient sometimes, especially for people who wanted to just like make that nice serene area. Moving on to the room, obviously a lot less focus on the room. Necessities. One thing that I just have a problem with, especially like if it were to be more like Seaver, which is just single room, small, you wouldn't have this issue, but Taylor, which were like bisected by dividing walls, cable TV jacks both sides. It was the worst having to string a cable and just like have a bunch of duct tape along the wall, going up and around, through the door, around all the cabinets and closets and yada yada yada. So it's a supremely easy fix just to put a cable, like a cable jack, in another room if you have those bisected rooms. Necessities, sleeping area, closet space, desk, microwave, all the things that you would always get. Even like the couches that they give. The couches that they give, granted they're a little outdated, they're a little older, and they're not exactly the nicest. It would be nice, especially if they're bringing in new stuff, to just kind of throw out a nicer one. But I mean, you can always throw that into the cost of living for whoever's living in that dorm. I put this, which is a bunch of people playing Wii, symbolic of an open space. Obviously, they're restricted in spacing, and whoever's, like, whenever they actually come in to design, like, their living space, that's completely how they fix and, like, move things around. But it's more so, I understand, like, architecturally, people are like, oh, it's my masterpiece, and it has, like, it's cool looking if it's got those jagged edges and things are sticking out and stuff. It's very inconvenient, though. So that open space, just, like, have that area that's clean open space is nice. So don't, like, okay, we're going to make this one like a pentagon because it looks cool. So just throwing it out there. The girl who is screeching loudly, I'm assuming, is representative of basically like loud music and stuff. It really wouldn't be that difficult. I understand it is a cost thing to make like the walls not necessarily like soundproof. You don't need to make them soundproof, but it really wouldn't hurt to throw some sort of an insulator or some sort of soundproofing anything into the walls, just so that you wouldn't have to hear your neighbors, because sometimes, honestly, I could hear them through the walls, and it was quite unpleasant. And then sometimes it was just like someone who was down the hall playing guitar or something like that, and it's just like it's 11 o'clock at night, and you just want to have that quietness. Not to mention, I mean, every freshman kid is always like, oh, let's have a party in our room. It's not enabling, just thought, food for thought. I have a lot of trouble when I was looking at the keys and how to, like, for an ideal, because I know people who actually live in some of the newer, like, maybe not newer dorms, but the ones that are renovated, where all you have to do is the swipe access or whatever. Highly inconvenient, especially if you close your door, because it automatically locks. And personally, I've always been a high advocate for keys, just because I've always ridden a bike. So having a bike and like having that one key is very inconvenient and is often probably going to be lost. Not to mention, last year I lost my keys at Mirror Lake, timely. But I lost them at Mirror Lake, and because of their coding systems they have stamped on every key, I actually got all of my keys back, including my key for home as well as other keys. Very nice, actually. So I've always liked the key. I threw in the actual swipe access as kind of like a secondary system. Definitely, I know that I've locked myself out of my rooms a couple times. With the keys, it's a little harder to do so, but say your roommate locks you out or something like that. Easier than going to the front desk. Each person, of course, could use their Buck ID and just get back into their room. I mean, basically, just looking at this in the sense of hotel, dorms are essentially extended stay hotels. So let's make it easy. And they've got the key pass. They already have those things where you can use a key card access or even a key. So you just have to, I guess, look for those. So yeah, that's just about it. I can't really think of anything else. Yeah. Cool.
I think that was